Yes. Just looking at these two court orders, right, and it happened at 2:05 on Friday the 31st, 40 days after you issued the temporary protection order. The afternoon family court hearings. Yes. Anybody else on the docket that time, that day? Yeah. Now I know that if you enforced my rights, I could get the actual audio. Yes. It's a private. When I sue the court, will I hear the voices of any other person that was in the courtroom that day? Because I'm thinking I won't hear the petitioner's voice. Yes. Now, this petitioner that you say doesn't have any rights, that has abducted my sons, and I wanted to reiterate this. Yes, I haven't gotten a phone call. A lot more than just the order happens during a court hearing, doesn't it? Judge, do you speak to the petitioner? Does the petitioner tell the court commissioner her concerns? Is there any actual communication that happens during a court hearing that would require an acknowledgement, not only the receipt of a copy of this order, but acknowledgement of actually what was communicated during the court hearing? Now, I think we're missing some substance to this court order. Yes, and I'm thinking it's the actual conversation that happened between the petitioner and the court commissioner. Yes. Now, I'm going to want to sue you, and I want you put in prison. Okay. Now, I want you dumb fuckers to stop screwing around in my private life and giving my sons. It's not just a receipt of the copy, it's the acknowledgement of the court hearing and what the actual conversation was between judge, court commissioner, and petitioner. Oh, now sometimes, considering the number of these protection orders that have been issued, yes, if I looked at the actual conversation, right, what was the conversation like on July 8th of 2011? Oh, did she appear in court on that day when she petitioned the court for an ex parte emergency protection order? Yes. Mhm. Did she have a conversation about her fear of imminent death, destruction, and how I was going to beat the shit out of every child that I have? Well, you decided to take confidential reports. Did she have any confidential reports on that day, July 31st of 2015, that she could have given the judge at that time? Could she admitted any additional evidence, something that you would have needed to know, before issuing the protection order? Yes, yes, yes. Then you had another motion hearing on July 22nd of 2011. Yes. You can see I was not given any notice or opportunity to be heard. There was no substance, yes, substantive due process to myself during the court hearings. The procedural process for having court hearings obviously were being violated. But you'd be surprised if you had allowed me the opportunity to be heard. Yes, what I might have said when I was in court. Now, not only have you obstructed my right to know of the time of when and where of court hearings, yes, you obstructed my right to add substance, yes, to any court order that would have been issued by the court or not issued, yes. Now, this reissuing of the temporary protection order and then putting on the docket of 8/12 of 2011, there was another motion here. Oh my gosh. There was a declaration that was admitted on that temporary protection order. Yes. And then there was a declaration admitted to the court before you had a motion hearing. Pooch. Any reason I didn't get a copy of these declarations? Or you thought since I was on Guam I didn't need to know? Now, there's a difference between the confidential report, yes, and the declaration, yeah. Well, if I had been a resident of the state of Washington, yes, I would have thought that I would have had to have some sort of copy of the declaration so as to add substantive due process to the issuance of court orders. Now, this admitting to the court 2 days before the motion hearing for the order for the permanent order of protection, yes. What was the substance of those declarations? Yeah, I'd like to know myself. Pooch. How many other individuals were in the courtroom? Did they actually see or hear any individual that resembles my actual wife that I married, Pooch, that we had 5 sons with? Now, I'm going to sue you today for each and every time you had a court hearing where myself, yes, did not get notice or opportunity to be heard. So I couldn't have added to the substance, yes, the substantive due process that's necessary when issuing court orders. Now, there's these declarations that I did or did not get a copy of before having the court hearings. Then Judge Ken Williams decided to issue a permanent order for protection for 1 year. Now, as much as you dislike the thought of me having something to say during hearings, I would say something. I would say, well, I didn't get a copy of the declaration to court days, or was that a weekend? Let's get out the calendar again. How many days do you have to put a declaration in? You know, these declarations, I can research it. How many days of notice do you have to give when making declarations? Could I have made a declaration? Yes. Declaration that I didn't get notice and opportunity to be heard? A declaration that I wasn't there. A declaration that you issued court orders when I'm really fucking due process.